Watched an episode of Star Trek recently, where the Borg first transported onto the bridge of the starship Enterprise, and Jean-Luc Picard was then abducted and transported to a cubicle Borg ship. And as soon as they realized that Captain Picard was gone, Commander Riker talked through his little comm badge to Chief O'Brien and asked, "O'Brien, can you beam him back?" And Miles O'Brien responded that he can't, that there's some kind of interference. All O'Brien says, this man who transports people for a living, is that there's some kind of interference. I wonder if that's the kind of interference like when you tell a friend about someone that you've started dating, and at your own party, they leave and make out with your date. I wonder if it's the kind of interference when the one you love calls you and tells you they're going on an airplane on the other side of the planet, but their connecting flight was just canceled, so they won't be able to see you soon. And by the way, this phone call costs over $2 a minute from the other side of the world. That's what you get for getting your hopes up. I wonder if it's the kind of interference like when a week before you're supposed to stand up in a wedding, your significant other tells you that they want to break up, but they understand you're a part of someone else's wedding. They'll tag along, you know, act like your date to not cause any waves for you. I wonder if it's the kind of interference that when you're driving to see your parents, that while stopped in an intersection, you see a car speeding toward you, or it went toward you, or a stopped car. So you turn your car wheels so that the crash won't kill the motorcyclist in front of you. And what they do drops you into a coma for weeks, where at the hospital they put a tube down your throat to breathe for you. You know, that kind of interference. I wonder if it's the kind of interference like when you're finally off on your own and you feel like you can trust people and someone gets you drunk enough to not fight back when they sexually get off on you. And you later hear of rape rooms and fraternity basements that are rooms with floors literally covered with dingy semen-stained mattresses, you know, in case the girl falls down as soon as they enter the room. You know, that kind of interference. I wonder if it's the kind of interference you get after you questioned your gender preference, started relationships with a few, until one of them, from a one-night stand, gave you the human immunodeficiency virus. After you contracted full-blown AIDS, you cocktailed your way through the world with anything other than liquor, wondering how long you'd live, wondering if you'd ever have or raise kids. You know, that kind of interference. But you know, often when you hear them say on Star Trek that there's some kind of interference, they continue by saying, "I don't have a positive lock on the away team," which makes me think of the times when you want to find the one you love and some kind of interference keeps you away from your chances of finding your one true love.